Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here, your source for gaming tech, emulation, and open source news. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, we're talking about Nintendo versus Retro Game Core because, yes, that's the thing. The Retro Game Core had a video on their YouTube channel called MIG-Flash V2 and Cartridge Dumper Review. And it turns out Nintendo did not like that video. Nintendo issued a copyright strike to Retro Game Core because of that video and had the video taken down, all over a 3-second clip. So Retro Game Core says the video was a review of the MIG-Flash V2 and Cartridge Dumper, which I demonstrated as a use for backing up and preserving your own Switch cartridges. In the video, I showed how to take my own games and convert them to digital files, much like you would back up CDs to MP3s, DVDs to MP4s, etc. There are legal protections for backing up media for your own personal use in the United States, and I used no software to circumvent Nintendo's anti-piracy measures. Russ then goes on to say, Nintendo's copyright notice is because at one point in the video, I showed the title screen of Super Mario 3D World on my Switch when cycling between various Switch games. So their copyright claim has nothing to do with the cartridge dumper, but rather they are exercising their authority as IP owners of that game to take the video down. This is the same as taking down any other random video that shows Switch gameplay on a Switch. But because they cannot copyright claim infringement on the cart dumper itself, they claimed a different clip to remove the whole video. Russ then says this tactic has been used by them previously, and one of the reasons why I am always hesitant to show Switch gameplay and emulation on this channel. While I likely have a case to counterclaim and fight for the video's restoration, I simply don't have the means to get into a legal battle with a multi-billion-dollar corporation known for their cutthroat legal team. To be honest with you, I am very surprised that Nintendo was able to take down an entire video and issue a copyright strike to the channel over a 3-second clip in like a 23-minute long video. That's like less than 1% of the video, and arguably that clip has no bearing on the entire video. I'm surprised YouTube didn't give Russ the option just to remove that 3-second clip and carry on. But here we are. So let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Do you think Nintendo had the legal right to take down the entire video? Do you think Nintendo's argument would hold up in a court of law? Do you think the Retro Game Core was in the right here? And what do you think is going to happen on YouTube moving forward with Nintendo footage in regular YouTube videos? Next up, we're talking about PlayStation 2 emulation on Android with a brand new PS2 emulator currently in development. This one is not going to release for a while, so don't hold your breath, but it does have potential. It is called EtherealSX2, and the person behind this one is one of the people working on EtherealSX2. Now, the GitHub page currently doesn't have a whole lot on it, but it is going to be 100% free and open source. And they say here that this will house the source code for the future container and eventual core that will make up the EtherealSX2 emulator. Its main purpose is to be an up-to-date port of PPSSPP for modern mobile devices, while being a proper successor to EtherealSX2. Now, for those who may be unaware, EtherealSX2 was basically PPSSPP on Android. Although the whole Android portion of it was closed source, the PPSSPP portion was open source. And this may change the entire landscape here by making everything open source. Again, be patient with this one, don't hold your breath, and it's probably going to take a while to release. And speaking about PPSSPP2, next up here we're talking about PPSSPP2, and PPSSPP2 just got an update to make it compatible with a controller I had never heard about before. So with one of their updates here, they've added train controller emulation. They say it emulates a range of Densha Mascon train controllers originally sold by Taito. And it's not just one train controller, it's a bunch, and they're all lever-based. So they say here, lever-based controllers provide an advantage over the standard DualShock emulation for some games, as these controllers physically hold an axis in a particular level without requiring the player to actively apply pressure. These changes allow players with lever-based controllers to play Densha to Go titles such as Densha to Go 3, Densha to Go Final, and more. I have never played these games before. Now, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole taking a look at these controllers and trying to learn more about them, and some of them released back in 2002 here. And this is what one of them apparently looks like. And I am more than interested now in actually using one in game. I don't know where I'm going to get hold of one, but at the same time here, These look super interesting. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. Have you ever used a controller like this? Have you ever played those games on PS2? And speaking about controllers and announcements, next up we're talking about Evercade. And Evercade has just made a big announcement that I think a lot of people are going to like who use Evercade. Now it's worth pointing out that this new feature is currently in beta, but Evercade has announced analog support for third-party controllers. And they do work with a number of arcade games here, like Worms Armageddon, Speedball 2100, Duke Nukem, Tomb Raider 3, and more. And additionally here, for arcade games, they've added in a turbo fire function, and it's currently in beta. It's available for a bunch of different games. It still requires some work, but some of these games include R-Type, Zero Wing, and even more. And they've also added in a beta for high scores to save your high scores without having to save your state. Unfortunately, the high score feature will not work with every single arcade game, as some arcade games do not have the ability to pull scores from a saved area. However, here it will work on these games listed and maybe more in the future. Next up, we're talking about Microsoft, and it's being reported that Microsoft is cutting 650 more gaming jobs. And that's in addition to the 1,900 or so gaming jobs that they cut a while back, which brings the total over 2,500. That is a lot of jobs to cut since the acquisition of Activision Blizzard. I'm not sure what's going on over there. To me, it seems like more work for less people. And it's also being reported that the majority of the cuts will impact people in those corporate and support roles at Activision Blizzard. And none of the business unit leaders at Xbox or its affiliated gaming teams will be cut either. And I find this very interesting. I mean, in my opinion here, when there's bad decisions at a company, those bad decisions usually start at the top. Again, all my opinion, but the executives make big salaries to make big decisions. And the workers are just executing what those decisions are from the executives. When things aren't going well, you think they would replace or at least remove those executives with the inflated salaries and, well, let the workers continue to do their work and continue to do their thing. But it doesn't seem like that's being the case here. I mean, I'm pretty sure developers were cut in the previous round, and now they're cutting support. I don't know why they're not cutting bad decision makers, or at least perceived bad decision makers if the company is not doing well and has to make cuts. But I don't know about this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I mean, when I see stuff like this, and it doesn't have to be a gaming company, just when I see stuff like this in general, I usually ask what decisions were made to lead the company down this path. Who made those decisions? What and who made the decisions to have the company in its current place where it's got to make these very tough decisions to get rid of workers? A whole cause and effect type of situation. If you find the cause, you find the problem. I don't necessarily know if just cutting random workers doing the actual work is the right way to go about this, but I could be wrong. I'm not the one making these decisions. And continuing to speak about Microsoft, next up we're talking about Xbox. And Xbox is reintroducing an old feature, and that's friend requests. They say here you'll be able to send, accept, or delete friend requests, in addition to following or being followed by others. And I'm wondering here if it's going to go back to the Xbox 360 days where if you beat someone real bad in a game and you see a friend request, you've probably got an idea of what they're going to send. But shifting from Microsoft to Sony, next up we're quickly talking about the PS5, and this is more just a quick heads up here. If you've got a PS5, you may have noticed a new system update and a new Welcome Hub. This Welcome Hub is a reimagination of the Explore tab, and it does have customizable widgets. If you've used this, let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below. And additionally here, they're rolling out Party Share, which allows users to share party voice chat links over Messenger apps. So that's a pretty cool thing as well. And speaking about sharing and caring, next up we're talking about Valve. We talked about Microsoft, then Sony, and well, now Valve here. And Steam has just rolled out Steam Families, which is a great option here if you've got a bunch of people in your household who like to play Steam games. And we've talked about this one before when it was in beta, but now it's mainline. Now, as far as I understand, within a Steam family, there are 6 members within the same household. And you can all be playing different Steam games from one Steam library. You can basically just share a library. You cannot play the exact same game at the exact same time. And it is worth pointing out, if someone gets banned from one game, the owner of that game gets banned, so one person can basically ruin it for everybody. Now, I don't know about you, but aside from the whole banning thing, I can see a whole bunch of benefits to this program. And the icing on the cake here is that not all save files are shared. Everyone has their own unique save file. So if someone goes on ahead and beats a game, it doesn't impact your save, which is amazing. However, not every game will be eligible for family sharing. They say here not all games can be shared due to technical limitations. For example, titles that require an additional third-party key, account, or subscription in order to play cannot be shared between accounts. And that will account for some big AAA games out there. From my understanding, Steam families are free, and they don't require you to be online to use this new feature. I think this is a big win for Steam. Next up is just a quick fun one here. We've got Bloodborne running on the Wii U via SHAD PS4. Now this may not be exactly as you think, as I'm pretty sure the Wii U is now powerful enough to run SHAD PS4 and Bloodborne. I'm pretty sure this is being streamed to the Wii U gamepad. But at the same time here, we've got Bloodborne on the Wii U before we've got a release of GTA 6. And speaking about Grand Theft Auto, next up we're talking about Grand Theft Auto 3 on the Sega Dreamcast. Now we have talked about this before, Grand Theft Auto 3 never officially released for the Dreamcast. However, someone is porting it to this system. This is an unofficial fan port. We've talked about it and showcased some footage before. And now the footage is looking even better. More improvements are being made here, and it's very surprising the Dreamcast is able to handle this game so well. Things are looking really, really good. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. I mean, it's worth pointing out they say no more clipping issues, a solid 30 frames per second frame rate, most effects are present, and this is all on official hardware using an actual Dreamcast. And speaking about gameplay and videos, next up we're talking about Crimson Desert. And IGN has just showcased about an hour's worth of gameplay from this upcoming game. And the footage here looks absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm not joking with you here, this is actual gameplay. It looks like it should be a cutscene or something. Now, I don't have a release date for you yet for this upcoming action-adventure open-world RPG, but it seems like it will launch in 2025 on PC and consoles. Let me know your thoughts about Crimson Desert in the comments below. Next up is a friendly heads up if you're into Switch modding. It appears that PPSSPP has been ported to the Switch thanks to M4XW. It's working on the Switch. Apparently it's working pretty well. And I'll drop a link to this announcement in the comments below or in the description below. M4XW also has a Patreon. And last up here, we're talking about a fairly comprehensive Zelda fan game based on A Link to the Past. It's called The Legend of Zelda Dungeons of Infinity, and this is not a ROM hack. The developer says, "It is with great joy that I released this game after 4 years of full-time development. I poured my entire heart and soul into it. I hope you enjoy it." And they also say, "I'm aware of Nintendo getting on my back over this, so grab a copy while it's available." As for the description, I find this very interesting. They say the game is a procedurally generated roguelike Link to the Past dungeon crawler. It is not a ROM hack. It was created in Game Maker Studio from scratch using the original assets. Many new features and assets were added to this game, but special care was put in to ensure it still looks, feels, and plays like the original game. If you are curious about this one and wanted to learn more about it, I'll drop a link to this Reddit post in the description below. Like everything I talk about, links are in the description below. Anyways, this post is up over on Reddit Zelda. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button, check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate, save your state.